Here we'll do an example of a unit conversion problem that requires two steps. Here we'll start with 100 yards and try to find the number of inches in that 100-yard football field. The problem with this is that there's no direct relationship between yards and inches. Notice how in our first unit conversion statement we have feet and we have inches. In the second unit conversion statement we have yards and feet, but no connection between yards and inches. When you have no direct connection, you're going to have to try to do this in multiple steps. Since we can't go directly from yards to inches, we have to think about what we can go to. We see in the second unit conversion statement that we can go to feet. We'll write that we have yards but need inches. Our yards cannot go directly to inches, but because of statement number 2 here, 1 yard is the same as 3 feet, meaning we could go to feet instead. That will be our first step in this problem. Now we look at feet and think about, could we go from feet to anywhere else? We can see in statement number 1 that feet are related to inches. So, once we have feet, we could go to inches, but that will take a second step. So we must go to feet first, then after we get feet, we change to inches. Let's handle the first part of the calculation here. Our football field is 100 yards, and we'll write that first. Then we multiply yards by a fraction. The first step will tell us to change to feet. So we're going to take a little stop here at feet first. So we will not put inches on the top. Instead, we will put feet. Then on the bottom of this fraction, we'll place whatever unit we started with. Since we started with yards, that must go to the bottom. The first piece of information we must use now is a piece of information that tells us how to go from feet to yards. So let's check our problem statement for a piece of information that will allow us to change from feet to yards. The second unit conversion statement tells us that 1 yard is 3 feet. This will help us change over. Since the feet are on the top, we'll box in the 3 feet. We'll note that that must go to the top, and we'll write the 3 next to feet. We also note that on the bottom we have yards. Since the 1 is next to yards in the statement, we'll place 1 next to yards when we do our conversion. Now we go to our calculator and take 100 multiplied by 3 divided by 1. This is a little bit different from what we did previously, but this is how we'll handle the math if we don't write the 100 yards over 1. This will sometimes save you a little bit of arithmetic work. So if you choose not to multiply two fractions, you'll take the 100 yards, multiply by what's on the top, and divide by what's on the bottom. We now enter 100, multiply by 3, and divide by 1. Once again, it's not necessary to enter a division by 1 because that won't actually change our answer. If you just said 100 times 3, that would be okay. When we press enter, we get 300. Let's make sure we get the right letters next to it as well. Since we have yards on top and yards on bottom, we can cross those out and note that we now have 300 feet. This will be our answer for step 1. We're not finished yet though because we must get inches. So now we'll go to a new slide and change those feet to inches. This will be step 2. With our 300 feet, we will now multiply by a second fraction with a goal of changing to inches. Our final answer will be what's at the end of step 2, and we'll place inches in the top position because that is what we need to get at the end. The feet that we already have at the end of step 1 we will send to the bottom of this fraction. Now we'll look for a piece of information that relates inches to feet. Notice that we do have that 1 foot is the same thing as 12 inches. Now we locate feet in the fraction. Feet is on the bottom of this fraction, and so we'll make a note that 1 foot must go to the bottom. This means that the 12 inches must go to the top. Therefore, we place 12 on top next to inches, and we place 1 next to feet on the bottom. Then we can go to the calculator and take 300 multiply 12 divide by 1. This is the 300 we had at the end of step 1 multiplied by the top divided by the bottom. In the calculator we take that 300, multiply by 12, and dividing by 1 we don't have to enter if we don't feel like it, because that won't change our answer. We press enter and we get 3,600. Let's make sure we have the right letters next to that 3,600. Since we have feet on top and feet on the bottom, we can cross those out, and that leaves behind inches. Therefore, our final answer will be 3,600 inches. Notice that this is what we wanted because our goal was to find the number of inches at the end. So always make sure that you have the correct unit that you were asked for when you read the question the first time. If you come up with a different unit, it means you may have made a mistake in your arithmetic.